Hay pruebas y tentaciones y problemas por doquier, gran amistad. Tu madre decía cosas. Se sentaba junto a él murmurando, pero no le hablaba a él.
Las encontramos en su bolsillo.
Ella no creía en Dios.
Si crees o no, ¿eso qué importa?
Encontré el diario de mamá.
¿Qué tal si ella vio algo allá afuera?
Les dije que no vinieran.
Hay cosas en este mundo, cosas horribles, malvadas, y vendrán por quien sea.
Yo vi algo.
Ella no estaba loca.
Puedes olerlo. Ya está cerca.
Sí lo saben, ¿no? Ya está aquí.
Okay, we're live now. Hi, Michael. Thank you for this interview. First of all, have you ever worked on horror movies, or this is your first time?
This was my first time. I had never been a part of a horror film before, and for no other reason that they scare me. They scare the living daylights out of me. So I had never imagined myself being a part of a horror film, but when this script came along and the opportunity to work with a master like Brian Bertino in a medium that he knows so well and works so incredibly in, I couldn't turn it down. So that was my first jump off the ship.
How do you define this movie? Does it go beyond horror or terror?
Oh, I think it 100% goes beyond horror. I say, from my first read of the script, I said, well, this certainly has horror elements to it, but it's just as much of a psychological thriller and family drama as it is a horror. And I think, one of the reasons that's so great is it opens itself up to such a broader audience. It's going to serve the needs of so many more fans than had he just focused on one of those elements. I think there's certainly something for everybody here. Not for the faint of heart, but serves a lot of audience members' wants and needs and desires.
Brian Bertino is not only the director, but also the screenwriter. How was working with him, with someone that has so much clarity about the job you have to do?
I think it was pretty apparent from my first read of the script that it was a very personal project for Brian. And then when I found out that he had written the project on his family's farm inside the cabin where we were going to shoot the movie, I thought, oh wow, he has really immersed himself 100% in this story. And that was certainly the case. Once we got to Texas and got rolling, he knew exactly the story that he wanted to tell. The lead of the film, Marin Ireland, this was actually her first horror film as well. We had worked together once before back in 2016 on a film called In the Radiant City that was directed by Rachel Lambert, produced by Jeff Nichols. And Marin and I had played siblings in that film. So the actress that was supposed to play Louise in The Dark and the Wicked had to drop out for a scheduling reason not long before we went into production. And I contacted Brian and the producers and I said, you should really give Marin some consideration, give her a look, because I think knock this thing out of the park. I didn't actually know at that time that she had never done a horror film before, and she was, thankfully for me, she was just as scared as I was. But I assured her we would take the journey together, hold hands, and jump into the dark pit as a family, as a team. And but Brian was right there with us, holding our hand, and you know, we had no idea how much longer it takes to shoot a film like this than a straight drama or a straight comedy, because each scare has 3 or 4 more setups than you would in a straight drama or comedy. So, you know, being able to watch a master work, I think was a huge learning experience for both of us. And the fact that it was so personal to him, the story was so personal, and it was dealing with a family and saying goodbye to a parent, it made it all more impactful of an experience.
You just answered my next question, but I was going to ask you what was like working with Marilyn, since this was your second movie together. Is the environment is different, the mood, the atmosphere for both of you was different?
Yeah, you know, I think Marin, Ireland, I've said this a number of times, and I'll say it till the day they throw the last load of dirt on my box. I think Marin, Ireland is one of the most talented actresses working today, and there aren't many actors that you can say are just as captivating on screen as they are on stage, and Marin, Ireland is that. I've seen her wow an audience of 1,200 people, and you feel like there are very few actors you meet who will invest as much as she does. And so any opportunity that I have to work with her, I will certainly jump at it, because she gives 150%. And then I think the final product really reveals that.
Tell us about what it's like to shoot the movie at Brian's house. Was the atmosphere different because of that simple fact that it was his own house? Do you have any anecdote from filming in the ranch?
Well, I think, you know, it certainly served the film, and I think it ends up serving the audience as well, because there weren't many times where we had to pretend like we were scared. You know, we were in the middle of nowhere on this huge piece of property, and there were noises at night that we had no idea what they were, and the setting itself is very dark. There was the crew tried to go as naturally as possible and work with what resources were already in place on the farm. So the lighting that you see, for the most part, is how that place is lit. So it was very dark. We shot a lot of nights. There weren't a lot of daytime shoots. So in a way, you feel like it's kind of a ripoff as an actor, because you really are scared. But yeah, no, and the fact that Brian had grown up there and written the script there, he knew exactly what story he wanted to tell, and he had every shot planned out to a T. So we saved so much time, and we were able to focus on exploring these characters and exploring these relationships, because all the technical work had been done prior to showing up.
Usually, whenever you are in these kind of interviews, they ask you about the similarities with the character you're portraying. But what are the main differences with your character in the movie?
You know, I think Michael Straker, the character in the movie, is a little less of a risk taker than what I might pride myself to be. I think in order to be an actor, at least for me personally, I feel like there has to be a certain level of wanting to step out of your comfort zone and challenging yourself and taking risks. And I don't know that Michael in the film is that kind of guy. I think, you know, he works a 9-to-5 job that he probably isn't in love with, but it provides for his family that is the center of his universe, his wife and his 2 daughters. So yeah, I think that's probably the main difference between Michael in the movie and Michael myself. Um, yeah, that's a good
And
question.
now, of course, we would like to know about the similarities about both Michaels.
I think one of the biggest similarities is that Michael is a family man, and I have a young family of my own. I've two young children and a wife, and I feel like every day that I get up and go to work, wherever that may be, I'm not only doing that because I love it, I'm doing that to provide for my family. And um, I'm starting to realize that I'm now, I'm getting older, and I'm now seeing the world through my children's eyes more so than I had years ago. And I think a lot of that is post-pandemic, a product of going through something like the COVID madness. I think a lot of the things that we took for granted pre-pandemic, spending time with family, having the opportunity to say goodbye to loved ones that are passing over. I think we all reevaluated our lives a little bit, and I think for whatever reason, I'm starting to see the world through the eyes of my children, which I think has its pros and its cons. But hopefully, whatever I'm seeing, at the same time, I'm also instilling in them the confidence to make the right decisions and to follow their heart and to take risks and to challenge themselves, because it's so easy to get up and go through the motions of living day to day, but we're only promised one life. So get up and try something new every day, or meet a new person, or take a different way to work, or
travel more.
Travel
Get to know the world a little bit better.
Exactly. Was that an invitation to come to Mexico?
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
I am
You
on
have
my
to come.
way.
Please, right?
I would love to.
No, it's serious, man. We would like you to have it here in Mexico. Yeah, we'd love to have you here.
I would love to come back for sure.
Especially since we're at 72 degrees and you are
freezing, wearing a
freezing.
coat inside, like I wasn't able to afford heat this month, so I'll just wear a coat indoors. No, we're supposed to get snow tonight, which is actually kind of exciting because we haven't had any snow this year. And we're getting ready to move into spring here, so it would be nice to see at least one snow before we move on.
Yeah, before the next year. Finally, Michael, can you invite Mexican audiences to watch the movie, please?
All right, listen up, Mexican audiences. It's finally coming to you, The Dark and the Wicked. Took a little while to get there, but I promise you it's going to be worth the wait. Do yourself a favor. Don't read reviews, don't read summaries, go in as blindly as possible, because it's only going to make your experience in the theater so much more exciting. Come out and see it.
Thank you very much, Michael.